far side as the 7 runners come up to line. And Captain Dick Smalley just shouting it all right, and indeed they are, because they're now underway, 3 1/4 miles and 20 fences. And as they start to settle down, nobody really wanted to go on. Green Seats just the early leader with Winning Brief on the far side. Cobbler's Castle close up in third. Then comes Imperial Black, who's just behind Generous Bid with Burrough Hill Lad on the far side. And so they come into the first, and 1 or 2 untidy jumps there by the main body of the field. Meanwhile, Green Seach and Steve Jobard set the pace, and being followed there by Winning Brief, who races with Cobbler's Castle. In second and third, next is an open ditch. And the last one over that was Real View. And so settling down on that far side, Green Seach in the lead. Cobbler's Castle racing on the near side of Winning Brief. Then comes Generous Bid in fourth place, followed by Imperial Black, Burrough Hill Lad, and then comes Real View as they approach fence number 3. Green Seach the leader. And the last one over was Real View and Paul Barton. And so they make this bottom turn. And his Green Seach still continues to lead from Winning Brief in second place. Cobbler's Castle is third, Generous Bid 4. And then comes Imperial Black. And on the outside of Imperial Black is Burrough Hill Lad. And still bringing up the rear is Real View. And so the 7 runners now turn into the straight and on towards fence number 4. This one they jumped 3 times. The last time will be the 20 and final race in this, the Sean Graham Chase. But it's Green Seach who leads them as they come to it on this occasion. From Cobbler's Castle on the inside, Winning Brief with the white hat on the near side. Closely followed then by Burrough Hill Lad. Then comes Generous Bid, Imperial Black, and then comes Real View. So they're running to the water right in front of the stands. So we can all see this one perfectly plainly as they come to it. Green Seach, Steve Jobard still in the lead. Being followed then by Chris Grant on Winning Brief. On the inside is Cobbler's Castle. Then comes Generous Bid. And on the near side, Burrough Hill Lad, the mount of Phil Tuck, and the last 2 Imperial Black, who race on the far side of Real View. They go way to our right, another plain fence in front of them. Still Green Seach in the lead. Cobbler's Castle. Winning Brief up in second place. Then comes Generous Bid, Burrough Hill Lad racing on the outer, and still the last 2 Imperial Black, and then comes Real View. So they turn left-handed and face up towards fence number 7. Another plain one, little change in the order. Still Green Seach in the lead from Winning Brief in second. Cobbler's Castle is then third, followed by Burrough Hill Lad, who race on the far side of Generous Bid, and Imperial Black. And the last one jumping rather untidily was Real View. And so they continue up the side, now approach fence number 8, as they start to go back into a little bit of a murky conditions on that far side, but it's still Green Seach in the lead. Cobbler's Castle, Generous Bid, Winning Brief up on the outer. In fact, the 7 runners closely grouped up together, and the back marker is just Real View. So they've very nearly completed the first circuit. Well, Derek, we can't see much of them on the far side, but I can tell you that Green Seach continues to lead from Cobbler's Castle, and also Winning Brief nicely poised there. How do you fancy your chance at the moment?
Well, they haven't really got any speed as yet, and they haven't really started to race, John, have they? They'll quicken it up once they come out of this back stretch, and then I think it'll sort them out once they get in the home straight with a circuit to run. Winning Brief, well, he's going nice and sensibly. Chris Grant keeping him up sides. Bit of a bad jump there by Real View at the rear of the field, and a good jump by Imperial Black, who's still giving Reg Crank a lovely ride. He's going for his 5-timer. In fact, any of the 7 could win at this stage, and I'm most impressed by Burrough Hill Lad. But, he made a real bad mistake of that one on the far side, and that's what he tends to do during a race. If he could just sharpen his jumping up, he'd be very useful indeed. But as they continue their run down the backside, back to you, John.
Burrough Hill Lad now safely collected by Phil Tuck. He's about 5th or 6th, but meanwhile the lead is still in the hands of Green Seach, who led there from Cobbler's Castle, Winning Brief and Generous Bid. Then comes Imperial Black, who's accompanied by Burrough Hill Lad, and still the back marker, the one that's not jumping too well, Real View. And so they make the bottom turn for the second time, and there's still very little change in the order. Still Green Seach still the leader with Steve Jobard, and he's still being followed by Chris Grant. And also on the inside is Paul Nichols. Paul Nichols, the partner of Cobbler's Castle. Chris Grant on Winning Brief. And then comes Burrough Hill Lad and Generous Bid. And so they come now towards fence number 12, which will be the last next time round. Green Seach still in the lead. Cobbler's Castle on the far side, the noseband a generous bit towards the centre, then comes Winning Brief and Burrough Hill Lad on the near side with Real View, and then comes Imperial Black. And Imperial Black, Reg Crank in no hurry to really chase this one along, quite content to sit in behind his 6 opponents as they come to the water for the second and last time. Gren Seats just in the lead from Winning Brief on the near side. Generous Bit puts in a good jump in between those two, but there's little to choose between those three as they go away to our right, and just in behind the leading three, Burrough Hill Lad on the near side, Cobbler's Castle on the air, then comes Imperial Black and Real View. And so they jumped that one. Grain Seat still continues to have the advantage from Winning Brief on the outer. Generous Bit close up in third. Burrough Hill Lad also right in touch on the outside. On the inside is Cobbler's Castle. Then comes Imperial Black. And finally, Real View. They're running now towards fence number 15. 2 plain fences down the side of the course. And the lead once again being shared by Cobbler's Castle, Generous Bit and Winning Brief and Grain Seach. And then just in behind them then comes towards the outer Imperial Black and Burrough Hill Lad. But they're running now to the last down the side of the course. And as they come to it, Cobbler's Castle, Winning Brief, Burrough Hill Lad right up on the outside. Imperial Black now improves to be just in behind them. Now Grain Seach, who's made the running, is now back in 7th place. And so they come now into the straight on the far side for the last time. And they have 4 fences in all, 3 down the far side. They're running now towards fence number 17. And it's Winning Brief now in the lead from Burrough Hill Lad, Cobbler's Castle. Then comes Imperial Black. And so as they come towards this one, Winning Brief's in the lead from Burrough Hill Lad and Cobbler's Castle. They jump it well in front of Real View, who's improved. Then comes Imperial Black and Generous Bit. As I look back, Grain Seat's now losing touch. And I suppose in a moment or two that one would be pulled up. But they're coming now to the last open ditch. And it's Winning Brief who comes out it well. Cobbler's Castle makes a mistake, and so continuing down the far side, the battle now on between Burrough Hill Lad, who's the nearest challenger to Winning Brief, and these two are then followed by Real View, Imperial Black under pressure, and then comes Cobbler's Castle. So they're coming to the last on the far side. Winning Brief and Burrough Hill Lad together from Real View, who's improved all the time. In 4th place then comes Imperial Black, finding very little extra, and then after that is Cobbler's Castle, who's weakening. So too is Generous Bit, and even further behind, in fact, Grain Reach has now been pulled up. So the leaders now turning for home. 1 fence to go, and this is Sean Graham Chase, and it's Winning Brief and also Burrough Hill Lad to choose between these two. Real View right in, just in behind him in 3rd place. They're coming now. Phil Tuck now goes ahead with Burrough Hill Lad, and so it's Burrough Hill Lad now the leader from Winning Brief in the centre. Real View on the far side, but Real View is down there, and so it's a run up towards the line. Burrough Hill Lad now going away from Winning Brief and Imperial Black. They've got about 100 yards still to go, and an easy win here for Burrough Hill Lad, carrying Lemstone 12 as they come up towards the line. Burrough Hill Lad wins this one quite convincingly. A race for 2nd place, but I think Winning Brief just holding Imperial Black, and those two are well clear of the other finishers, and they are Cobbler's Castle. Then comes Generous Bid, and they're the only finishers, and I'm pleased to say that the Paul Barton up on his feet quite safely after fall from Real View, who had done some pretty